then can I ask if your initial reaction after that game, that was kind of maybe a lot closer, was it, than maybe you had anticipated?
No. I mean, I guess in terms of what opportunities we had, Mike, to maybe put them to bed at times, we probably offered them opportunities to stay in the game. A little bit of indiscipline at times. Our exit from some of our kick-off receives allowed them to hold the ball in our half a bit longer than we probably would have liked, and because they're a team that will throw the ball around and look to shift it, they pressurised us probably, like you say, a little bit more than we would have liked. But initial reaction is credit to the players who, they stuck to task the best they can. At times it was tough going. It was hard to probably get a feel for the conditions back home, because it was tough going. A lot of lads were cramping up, and the second half was probably a lot faster than the first half. It was a little bit stop-start the first half, but credit to the lads, they came through and could have been a game that we could have easily allowed them to score at the end, and we didn't. And there'll be lots of things we need to fix. There'll be lots of good learnings from the performance, both individually and as a group. But I guess a bit of pride in what we did at the end, and we managed to get the win.
One of the things you're looking for, I would imagine, from this tour is for the players to be tested. Now, the conditions, as we know from being at Bloemfontein before, are quite a challenge. But the way that the opposition came at you and came back into the game was, as you say, a bit of a test towards the end as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, we kind of expected the Pumas to maybe be a little bit more expansive than the Griquas, and that was evident. Part of that was probably allowing them to do that a little bit too much, but that I guess is one of those things that we set out to do on this tour, is to challenge the players, test them in a different environment, in a different game, and I think, like I said, I think there'll be loads of really good things that we can learn from this performance. There'll be things that individuals will hopefully take away, but also as a group we'll only get stronger, I think, going into the last game from some of the things that we could have done better today.
If I can ask Cian a question or two, if you don't mind. Cian, hi, it's Michael Corcoran here. You went into a situation where you were 21-0 up after 16 minutes. A really good start, but it seemed as if you kind of struggled to stay in the game and maybe allowed them back into it. Is that probably fair enough, or am I being too harsh there?
To be honest, in the first 20 minutes we were playing our game. We were playing the game we wanted to play. It wasn't fast and loose. We weren't giving them easy access. And then we probably got a bit too ahead of ourselves. Started playing like ill-disciplined rugby. Gave away a few penalties, a few poor exits. A few opportunities not taken, which allowed them a bit of life, when maybe there's moments when we're in the 22 we probably could have emotionally killed the game. We could have taken the life out of them if we say score that try rather than kind of kick it into touch or anything. So that was definitely the feeling anyway.
They got, I think it was 2 tries in the space of 4 or 5 minutes, that kind of short little narrow gap. I mean, what was the message you were trying to get to the players, in terms of trying to stay strong in the contest at that time?
Yeah, it was just trying to get back to what we were doing well, which was looking after the ball and playing the shape that we want to play, but also being disciplined as well. We probably ran it, the altitude probably started to affect us, and that started to affect our minds a little bit, which isn't an excuse, but it allowed them into the game.
And kind of just a final question, even for the two of you, Sam. I mean, you've been in Bloemfontein as a player. You're there as a coach now of this situation, so you'll probably have a fair degree of appreciation for what those conditions are absolutely like, particularly in the closing 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I experienced running around at that intensity, so I can't really give you an answer to that. What I would say, like Cian said, is that we probably the conditions were one thing, and I don't think that's an excuse, but I think we probably fed them and sort of we took a bit of air out of our own tyres, I guess, in the way that we just let them stay in the game a little bit too long, and and in those conditions, then the body starts to have to work overtime, and the mind is also working hard as well. So I think there's probably some factors in the way we allowed them back in the game, but like Cian said, I don't think the conditions are an excuse for that. But I would say I wasn't the one running around out there, and I think the players, to be credit to them, showed a lot of great determination to come through it at the end.
Obviously, you never want to see your side in danger of losing a game now, but do you welcome the actual nature of that contest? Is that exactly what you wanted to see your young players exposed to?
Well, I think that I guess that would we'd certainly learn more from this maybe than we did in some of the periods against the Griquas, and I think how to manage certain situations when we're in their territory. How do we make sure that we either keep applying the pressure or score points? Because I think when we held on to the ball and when we, like Keith said, when we played the way we want to play and played our game, we were hard to deal with. Just that was a little bit few and far between. When we had the ball, we probably coughed it up a little bit too much, and therefore we couldn't quite sustain that pressure on that you need at this level to be able to put a side to bed. I would say there was still some really good tries out there. I think James Culhane's try in the second half, just to the left of the post, was excellent. A lot of guys involved in it, a lot of good running lines, etc. So, I think there was some real positives as well. As much as we will be disappointed with letting them back into the game, there'll be some real positives come out of this game.
Will you expect to go up another notch from the Cheetahs?
Yeah, we saw the little bit of their game against the Bulls last Friday. They're probably more like the Pumas than the Griquas in terms of wanting to play the game a little bit wider, but they also have a good forward pack that can probably mix it in the tight as well. So yeah, it certainly will be a really good challenge. Really excited about that one. It's a short turnaround. But I think credit to the lads. They're already thinking about getting through their recovery and making sure that we get as many players available for selection come Sunday.